Hello, it's Declan Costello here, editor of ENT and Audiology News, and it's my very great pleasure to welcome Shahed Quraishi, who is a very, very good friend of the magazine over many years. Shahed will be known to people not just in the UK, but absolutely the world over for reasons we will discuss in just a second. Shahed has been the instigator and the driving force behind the ENT Masterclass movement. I'm going to call it a movement more than anything else. And we're going to chat about how that has evolved over the years. And we're particularly celebrating the 20th anniversary of ENT Masterclass, which happens in the coming months. So, Shahed, it's lovely to see you. Thank you very much for chatting to me.
Thank you, Declan. Nice to be with you.
Tell me a little bit about ENT Masterclass. How did it come about? How did it start?
Right, as you said, it's 20 years since it started. So I was appointed a consultant in 2003, and I was given the task of the training program director in South Yorkshire the following year. And the first thing which struck me was that the trainee budgets were very low and the course fees were very high. So I went to my trainers. I trained in Nottingham and spoke to them, spoke to friends in Liverpool, Birmingham, London, and said we should, and Liam Flood, who is a very good friend, and we spoke about starting a course for free. And the whole ethos was to provide high quality education free at the point of delivery, a bit like the NHS. And to my pleasant surprise, every person I approached agreed and volunteered. My big issue was funding because I had to feed people for 3 days, being a three-day course. So we managed somehow, and the first course was held January 2004, and we haven't looked back.
Amazing. And how frequently are the courses running now? And tell us how the whole system works.
Well, when we started, we had a single course last weekend of January, which is our flagship course. We had 60 delegates, 15 faculty members, and since then we started expanding the local courses into specialty themes. So we started the thyroid salivary gland course, the advanced ENT emergencies course. Then I'm proud to say that ENT Masterclass started the first specific ENT nursing course in this country. We are going to hold our 18th National ENT Nursing course, which happens every October. And following on from the response we got for the nursing course here, we also run ENT nursing courses in Beijing and Sydney, which are also well received in those countries. So with that, we felt that we needed to accommodate colleagues from abroad, because in 2014-15, I was approached by Carsten Palmer, professor in Sydney, about he asked me for a franchise. I always felt as if we were doing a Pizza Hut. So we got together and we did the first international course in Sydney as our first international venture. Obviously, our franchise is only 3 words: free quality education. That's about it. And the same year, the single largest city delegation in our January masterclass was not from UK. It was from Copenhagen. We had 18 registrars from Denmark. So we felt the time was ripe to start in Europe. So we started the European ENT Masterclass in Berlin. We held it there for 2 years. Then we moved to Switzerland because we needed to try and involve the French-speaking part of Europe. So we went to Lausanne. And then we've made a permanent base in Europe now in Bucharest, where we hold the World Congress every October. So in 2019, when we had peaked just before COVID, like the whole world, we at that time we were doing 16 courses per year. 8 were in UK and the rest were abroad. Wow. And after COVID, at the moment, we are doing about 9 courses per year.
Okay. And it's an amazing undertaking. We'll talk a bit more about the logistics of it in a minute, but tell me a bit about the ethos. I mean, you talked about free quality education being the sort of the touchstone of how it works. How do you see the organization? What's its sort of heart, as it were?
The key is that we, as I would say, senior colleagues and myself, we feel that we need to give back to our specialty. So when I first thought of this idea, never going to work unless you find the right people. So I trained in Nottingham, and my mentor there was Professor Patrick Bradley. So he was one of the initial pioneers with me in the masterclass. And I said to him, I said, Pat, we need to do this. And his words were, there are enough good people around, go and find them. And that's what it is. And 20 years later, we have nearly 250 consultants and professors from all over the world in our faculty bank. And here I'd like to point out that our faculty pay their own travel all over the world. They pay, in most cases, their hotel bills, their transport, subsistence, the lot. So not only do they give their time and their professional time, they also contribute with their own resources. And in the 20 years that we've been dealing with ENT Masterclass faculty, there have only been two occasions where a committed consultant has backed out at the last minute, but both were in very genuine reasons. So the commitment is very strong, and I think the key is the philosophy that we want to give back to our speciality free at the point of delivery. And to my surprise, in meeting colleagues in other countries, they have the same spirit. So we have all the leading consultants of different countries where we go as part of the faculty.
Absolutely. And how do you think about the content? I mean, you're covering the broad range of ENT specialties and subspecialties, but do you alter the content according to which country you're in?
Yeah, we look at three things. First is the local country pathology and the requirements there. Second is we look at the important clinical topics internationally, which, early laryngeal cancer will be an important topic anywhere in the world. Sure. And the third requirement is we look at the local exams situation. So, for example, in UK, we all know what the FRCS looks like and what are the types of topics. So I have to look at the curriculum of the exam. I have to look at the pathology and the clinical culture of that country. And third, I have to look at the common hot topics internationally. And then find the appropriate faculty who can deliver that.
It's the most amazing undertaking. Just to be clear, Shahed, do you go to all of these yourself? 16 a year. Do you go to all of them?
I do. And that has a big toll on my annual leave and study leave and all the rest.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, when I was doing, and on 1 year when it was really busy, I was in masterclass 56 days in that year. And obviously it had a serious effect on my professional and personal life. Mm-hmm. So in the last 10 years, what I try and do is, not me alone, I encourage all the faculty members to try and make it a mixture of work and holidays. So what we do is, if we go on an international ENT masterclass, we add a couple of days of annual leave to it. Mm-hmm. And last week we were in China. We all did a masterclass in China and then had a couple of days of sightseeing. Yeah. Then we went on to Vietnam. We had 3 days of sightseeing there. And a lot of us take our families with us. Obviously, we all pay ourselves.
Sure.
So that way it works out. Most of our master classes, if not all, are held on weekends. So that way we don't have to take extra days off because the weekends don't count.
Right.
So I will say that I am quite indebted to the faculty members, most of them who are very senior, serious clinicians, that they give up work for up to 1 week. This last week's case, we were away for 11 days. And quite of them had to leave their, NHS and private practices to participate. But that's the proof of the dedication that the faculty have.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. You've traveled, all the corners of the globe, and you must have come across some sticky situations. What are the most challenging countries you found to go to for various reasons?
Well, when you go to a different clinical culture, I mean, obviously, you have to be a little bit conscious and understanding as to what they want. So that's one challenge we have whenever we go to any part of the world. But my concern was when we were going to China for the first time in 2016, that what would be the language of the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a matter of principle, in order to make a uniform policy, we have English as an official language wherever we go.
Yeah.
So when we went to China, it took me a bit of negotiation, I should say, before we managed to convince them. And the solution was that we had real-time translation.
Mm-hmm.
And we managed it in both ways, Chinese to English, English to Chinese.
Yeah.
We had a similar situation when we went to Central Asia and we did 2 masterclasses in Uzbekistan, because there everybody speaks Russian. And we had no problem at all. And now, obviously, we now know the system. And believe it or not, last week when we were in China, we used artificial intelligence for translation. It worked very well.
Wow.
We didn't need a... Yes. So these are some of the challenges we have. Sometimes we have other types of challenges, and that is because of politics of countries. Sure. And getting visas, etc. And I've had sometimes issues going to South Asia where there are political differences between countries. Sure. But all in all, there's nothing which is impossible.
No. My head spins when I think about organizing 16 of these things per year with different time zones and different faculty and different translators and auditoriums and food and accommodation. It is the most extraordinary thing. It really is, and it's just such a testament to your determination and your drive.
I think communication has improved so much in the world that has helped. I mean, I wake up in the morning and my first WhatsApp list is communications from Asia. So I have messages from China, Australia, Vietnam, you name it. And when I go to bed, I catch up with all the communications from Europe and UK. Yeah. So twice a day, I have to give half an hour to catch up with the masterclass communications. And what I've learned from my mentors is that if you keep up with your tasks, it never becomes a burden.
No, you must be a step ahead of things the whole time. Shahed, listen, I won't keep you much longer, but tell me, what are the plans for the future of ENT Masterclass? What's next?
Right. So, you can stretch the elastic band as much as you can, but there is a limit. So we have, with the resources we have at the moment, we are really very tight, because, we have to acknowledge that there's a term which I've put into masterclass, that we are soon going to have faculty fatigue, and we don't want that. So what we're trying to do is, and we've actually managed it to a certain extent, that we are going to make regional hubs. So for the Middle East, we've got Bahrain as a hub, and you may know Heba Al-Rifi. She's
yes, I do know Heba, yeah.
She's the Middle East hub. So for Central Asia, our hub is in Tashkent, all of the Central Asian countries. For Southeast Asia, we've got Vietnam now. For Asia Pacific, we've got Sydney. And for all of Central and Eastern Europe, we've got Bucharest. Right. And for UK, we've got a mixture of Doncaster and London.
Right. And do you have different people, a person identified in each of those places to help?
Correct.
Yeah,
correct. I mean, we call them the local coordinators. So we've got regional coordinators who coordinate with. And one thing I've learned in this is, if you keep the same sort of structure for the same region, you don't invent everything again. And most of the things are on autopilot, and planning is easier. And the thing is, start in a new country, our lead time for any meeting is over a year. I mean, we start planning 1 year in advance.
I can believe it. Yeah. No, that's it is an amazing thing you've done, Shahed, and it's obviously got a sort of life and an existence of its own. It's just going to carry on forever, as far as I can see. It is absolutely superb. Well, look, I won't keep you, Shahed. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you for all you do for the specialty. Your honour from the Queen was very, very well deserved. And, thank you for your friendship to ENT and Audiology News over the years. And I hope we can catch up again soon.
Thank you very much, Declan. Take care.
Nice to
Bye-bye.
see you.